was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, let's dance together, and I was like, okay.
Emails that have come out where Fergie talks in the most personal and cringe-inducing terms about her daughters to a convicted is just beyond excruciating.
I can't get my head around taking your teenage daughter to meet the
Well, they knew him quite well. He'd attended their birthday party.
Newly surfaced emails are being framed as a bombshell, allegedly tying Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie to £20 million connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And given exactly who Epstein was, the implication is clear. This isn't being portrayed as generosity, a loan, or friendly support. It's being cast as money meant to buy silence.
Tabloids have published emails sent by the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, the former wife of Prince Andrew, that appear to show Sarah Ferguson thanking disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein for their, quote, supreme friendship. The significance.
What makes the story even more explosive is the suggestion that the palace wasn't blindsided at all, that people at the very top allegedly knew and allowed it to disappear into the shadows anyway. The claim centers on a paper trail, communication spanning years, right through the period when Epstein was repeatedly under scrutiny between his financial circle and representatives linked to the York princesses.
On Fergie, emails between her and Epstein seem to show that she may have had a crush on him, or some have suggested she was in love with the disgraced financier and convicted pedophile, let's not forget.
The alleged payments weren't handled in a straightforward way. They're described as being divided into multiple transfers and routed through offshore pathways that would make tracking difficult. And the language in those messages is presented as the real tell, suggesting cooperation, discretion, and continued silence tied to ongoing financial support. In this narrative, the timing becomes the point. As investigations intensified and public attention sharpened,
according to the DOJ file cache made public Friday, Ferguson referred to Epstein as a legend and even wrote the line that is now dominating headlines, "Just marry me."
money reportedly moved again and again, like a response mechanism, not a coincidence. Sarah Ferguson is positioned as a constant presence throughout this alleged exchange, described as facilitating, coordinating, and serving as the bridge between Epstein's team and her daughters. The voiceover leans into how personal and unsettling some of the email tone appears, arguing that it doesn't read like protection. It reads like negotiation.
In the email, Epstein reaches out to Sarah Ferguson asking about a possible trip to New York. Her response? She replies with, quote, "Not sure yet, just waiting for Eugenie to come back from a shagging weekend." The wording alone has shocked readers, but the context makes it even more jarring.
Then it pivots to the why. The suggested motive is that the princesses weren't distant figures who merely crossed paths with Epstein. They're portrayed as having been brought into his orbit when they were still young, including trips and proximity that would naturally raise the question. What did they witness? And what did they know? From there, the narration escalates. It argues you don't spend time around Epstein's properties, his circle, and his private world, and come away with nothing.
One insider told the Daily Mail the princesses were mortified by what their mother had written, adding they had not been fully aware of just how close their parents' relationship with Epstein appeared to be. The source said the sisters were particularly shaken by references to their private.
The emails are described as hinting at prior visits and sensitive activities that needed to remain private. Even without explicit details, the voiceover suggests the sheer scale of the alleged money answers the question on its own. Because in this framing, nobody spends that much to protect silence about something harmless. And finally, it widens the lens to the institution. The voiceover claims this could not have moved through royal-connected channels without awareness from the palace apparatus, advisors, security, and decision-makers, implying a quiet, strategic choice to contain risk, avoid another public royal scandal, and keep the Epstein story far from the throne.
However, an email has emerged from Sarah Ferguson that she did email Jeffrey Epstein, sort of apologising for her behaviour and giving an interview, saying that she'd cut off all connections.
The narration frames the leaked emails as a blunt reveal of royal priorities: protect the inner circle first, regardless of who pays the price. And it places the "how did they end up there?" question squarely on one person, Sarah Ferguson, depicting her not as a background figure, but as the central driver. In this telling, the emails aren't only about money allegedly connected to her daughters.
At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch.
They're presented as evidence of her role in enabling access and keeping the machinery moving. The voiceover paints a motive built on desperation, years of financial strain, debt, and the loss of royal funding, arguing that Epstein was treated less like a danger and more like an answer to a problem she couldn't solve alone. From there, the narration argues that Ferguson's leverage wasn't subtle. She had 2 daughters with royal status, names that open doors, access that creates proximity, and prestige that can normalize the abnormal.
Emails that have come out where Fergie talks in the most personal and cringe-inducing terms about her daughters to a convicted is just beyond excruciating.
The voiceover continues by describing the alleged emails as logistical and transactional, focused on payment structures and continued cooperation, and insists the most disturbing part is the way the daughters are discussed, as if their position and presence could be used like bargaining chips. Then the story lands on the silence. The narration emphasizes that, in the face of these alleged documents, there are no strong public denials highlighted here.
Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, let's dance together, and I was like, okay.
Tabloids have published emails sent by the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, the former wife of Prince Andrew, that appear to show Sarah Ferguson thanking disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein for their, quote, supreme friendship. The significance.
Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, let's dance together, and I was like, okay.
No visible legal pushback, no decisive statements, just an absence that the voiceover interprets as deliberate. It contrasts that silence with the ongoing fight for accountability by Epstein's victims, arguing that the people with the most power to speak, those with platforms, privilege, and institutional protection, chose not to. And it closes with the claim that spin may come, attention may move on, but the alleged paper trail and the scale of the money are being presented as something the palace can't simply outlast this time.